the managing partner of Technology Advisor. My own track is cybersecurity and trust. The topic was on internet, digital rights and privacy. Because of time, the focal point of our discussion was, at what point can government and private organizations draw the line between infringing on our digital rights and privacy? And we had a very robust engagement, and we were up to 126 attendants for the track. Because of time also, the recommendations from our discussions and from the panelists are as follows. As citizens, we need to be more proactive. We need to ask questions on what government is doing with our personal identifying information, our data. We need to also ask what organizations are doing with our own information. Also, we need to also ensure to hold the government accountable towards formulation and implementation of good and robust policies, laws, and regulations. Also, there needs to be more awareness in respect of our digital rights and our privacy and the surveillance aspect from the government. And we need also more sensitization. We also need to have interest in reading all these laws and regulations. It's not something that we should leave only to the lawyers or to the policy individuals. Before we put our information on any site or any place, we need to ask questions, read the fine print on every document and every website and application. Finally, we need to have more and efficient, robust rules and regulations. Thank you.
Why coordinated track 4, and in track 4 we looked at fiscal policy. We look at fiscal transparency for sustainable development. We had 22 participants in that class, and the workshop, the track presenter was Dr. Greg Ezilo, who made his presentation and opened our minds, our eyes to understand what fiscal transparency is all about and how essential it is for a sustainable development. He identified 10 key areas, 10 key documents that are very important for fiscal transparency. 1 is expenditure plan, 2, pre-budget statement, 3, the budget execution proposal, 4, budget as approved by the legislator, 5, the budget execution report, 6, media budget review, year-end financial statement, 8, publication, public procurement report, 9, performance report, and the 10th one is the audit report. One thing that will interest you that we saw there is the fact that we try to look at Nigeria on the open budget index, and we look at Nigeria in 2017. Where do we stand in the open budget index? And we said in terms of transparency, Nigeria is at 17 over 100, 17 over 100. Public participation, 13 over 100. And budget oversight, we said 56 over 100. I will just go to the key recommendations. Number 1 in the key recommendation is the fact that the track recommended that the Federal Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Budget and National Planning should float an interactive portal that gives the CSOs and other organizations opportunity to share ideas and criticize the budget, make criticism on the budget and make their own input to the budget. 2, fiscal transparency education should be encouraged by using the internet as a medium for dissemination of information and budget data. We agree that this can be made possible with the cooperation of stakeholders like NIDA, NCC, the Ministry of Communication as a parent ministry to them, and other relevant stakeholders. 3, We also agree that the participants also were encouraged to develop simple solutions and apps that can be pushed out at low cost. We say, think of a problem, and then you can think of a solution, or rather think of a problem that can be solved. 4, we also agree that the National Assembly should, or recommend that the National Assembly should ensure a quick passage of bills relating to economic development and make information available to the public. By that, they will be helping our economy to recover. Because when bills or when budgets are passed late, they don't help our economy at all. Number 5, we agree that there should be a revisit of need 2 of the SDG. You know, the MDG had 17 key area: food, literacy, eliminate hunger, and so on. Then it transformed to need 2. So this need 2 that the government had dropped, the government should revisit and see how we can bring it up to better the lives of the citizen. And lastly, we agree that there should be a proper focus on educating the citizens on the SDG itself, so that the project can have a better acceptability. When people are educated, they are better informed. And we conclude by saying that education is power. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, please. Special announcement. There is something you have that belongs to us. Please, we will appreciate it if you can submit it. Evaluation forms. Evaluation forms. Please, it's very important. Fill it. Before you go, where you register, please, just give it back to us. Or you can give it to the people here, rapporteurs who are there. Please, it's very important. Thank you. Okay, you don't have it.
Thank you. With the last, just the last, straight to the point. Let's hear your recommendations as well.
Okay, thank you. Track was internet broadband for open governance, and the chair of the track was Engineer Chidi Diugu. Paper from Mr. Abdul Hakim Ajijola, but presented by myself, Dewale Ajao. And just before I jump to the recommendations, just establish that governance is the establishment of policies and continuous monitoring of their proper implementation. And the primary duty of that is to enhance the prosperity and viability of the organization. So we'll be talking about the nation. We took an approach in the track of looking at broadband itself even being available before we talk about the governance. And obstacles, problems identified include obstacles from states and local governments, and also the need for protection of broadband infrastructure. One of the reasons we keep having issues is network operators keep having cable cuts and vandalism. And another problem identified was the readiness of our government agencies to even be transparent through open governance. How much information is available through their websites? How are the citizens' lives made easier through that? The recommendations include, interestingly, like from previous tracks, education. Education of both government and the governed to use our broadband resources responsibly and for the benefit of the citizens. We also recommended that we better define the extent to which broadband is said to have penetrated a location or a community. So we need to not look at, for example, Lagos State to say, oh, everybody is fine there, but recognize the fact that there are communities there that have poor internet access. We should, the track recommends that the public can be educated on the significance of all communications and interconnection infrastructure as critical national infrastructure, even while we are waiting for the Critical National Infrastructure Bill to be passed. We also recommend that there be a push for localization of the country's data so that we keep our data in line with our territorial boundaries and sovereignty. Then local infrastructure and service providers should be encouraged by patronizing their services and holding them to high standards so that they can provide even better services to us. Government agencies need to be pushed to use their websites and electronic services to make life easier for us, the citizens, i.e. the customers. We should also help them to see the value of internet services to help transparency and accountability. Lastly, there's a proposal to consider changing the models that we use for reaching the unconnected. We need to think about ways, in more innovative ways, to reach those people who don't have access so that they can begin to contribute also to governance. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The managing partner of Technology Advisor. My own track